Back on, Gertie Rude. Back again, that Wednesday mood. Well, it's Wednesday and we're all here. Let's check I've got that. Right, we're all ready to go. Megan has no understanding of business. She's an actress and needs to aim higher. Okay, well, there you go. She's elevating again. Let's jump in and see what I missed yesterday.
The curtain and showing you how to build a business.
It's got nothing to do with how to build a business, really.
Right.
Like, there's a couple of small bits of advice, like Whitney Wolfe says, don't sweat anything that you're not going to care about in 5 years' time. So
right.
Fine, you know.
Thanks for that.
But so Megan, it was true throughout Archetypes. Like, she doesn't want to pressure her guests at all.
Right.
Probably because many of them are her friends. She probably already knew exactly how Whitney Wolfe feels.
Well, to be honest, she doesn't let them talk, does she? She just does all the talking for them. So, it's Whitney Wolfe Herd of Wolves, whatever. Yes, her with the rhinestone cowboy. Do or something that no one believed or cared about. Right, let's go on.
Disintegration of her share price because she's Whitney Wolfe Herd's friend.
Yes.
But we don't know, and she doesn't ask
Whitney
pressing
Wolfe Herd's
follow-up
friend.
questions because it's so softball. But if she wants people
She
to be
barely asks any questions. The only questions she asks are ones that she can interject and answer herself. But
genuinely
anyway,
interested,
move
this
on,
podcast
move
could have
on.
been way better. Like, to whatever extent it did have some interest and some intrigue, it could have been way better if she'd gone more into, like, interrogating the subject. I mean, the episode was called The Evolution of the Entrepreneur. There's nothing in there about the evolution of the entrepreneur.
Well, I don't think she can press any of her guests, mainly because they're her friends, but also I just don't think there's much...
Evolution of the entrepreneur. Yeah, I don't even know what that means. Entrepreneur, evoluting, like in Darwin's sense. Entrepreneur, don't know. I'm lost. Right, move on.
Going on upstairs. I mean, seriously...
Well, she's got nothing going on upstairs.
I don't think...
But you can hire people for that. Like, hire a producer
but
to tell
then
her
you have to
what
admit that there's nothing in your head. I mean,
Right.
this is Megan and people like Whitney who...
He's gainfully trying to defend her, bless him. It's a thankless task, you know, but he's getting paid. Right, let's go.
In the same world, and you can see they're very similar. They have this very romanticized view of like what a business owner is and what a female business owner is.
Well, they have a very romanticised view of everything, a very childlike. Well, not childlike, because childlike's quite nice. It's childish is different. Childish sort of denotes some sort of cerebral immaturity. And I think we're ticking all the boxes for that, aren't we, Esther? With the marklet. Yes, we are,
like
darling.
Extra brownie points. And yes, of course, I listened to the whole thing and I didn't learn a single business lesson, which I find quite frustrating. There are loads of business podcasts out there that don't teach anything about business or starting a business or anything.
Right.
I mean, I kid you not, at some point during the podcast, they talked about bottling up your essence and selling it. And that is...
God, somebody just shoot me. That's as bad as the funny smelling candles, isn't it? From what's her name? That other one. Queen Paltrow. Look at that bird laughing. Oh, I love it. I love it when they can't stop themselves but laugh.
The stuff
Going to pop up on
Yes.
as ever.
It sounds like vagina candles all over
Yes,
again.
it does.
Vagina candles sold goop. Like, vagina
Well,
candles
yeah,
launched
I mean,
goop.
that was
Like, it wasn't-
No one wanted those candles. Come on, or did they? Probably they did. A load of creepy old men all over the world bought them, probably, and sat in their bedrooms sniffing them with no clothes on.
Brilliant.
It was marketing brilliant, but there's nothing anywhere near as like interesting or lively as vagina.
But that's because it was controversial. I don't think bottling
Yeah.
essence,
Yeah.
there's no
And
controversy
it didn't
around
really
that.
smell of
No,
very
we
much.
don't
Thank
want
God.
that.
I thought it was just going to smell like off-sardine.
We don't want
I
to
think
bottle essences.
ultimately, I think what Megan is...
Don't give her any ideas, because she will literally be making jars of her farts. She will. She'll be flogging them. She'll be flogging them on Amazon with Jeffrey Bezos.
eventually going to have to realise is, yes, you tune into stuff because you want to learn about her, but there is not much to learn. She's very vacuous. She has a problem with word salad, I noticed. Maybe it's a California thing, but there's really not a lot of substance.
I don't think it's a California thing, because I think if you go down, say, I don't know, the streets of San Francisco or downtown Los Angeles, I don't think you'll find all the homeless people talking like they talk, because they can talk like that because their lives are so vacuous and vacant and airheaded that literally they can get away with talking like that, and it really means something to them. They're believing in their essence, and you've got to really be present in the moment and turn up for it and elevate and all this old BS.
To the extent that when she brings on someone who's actually done a lot with her own career
more-
and has had an
more than the
interesting story to
marklet.
tell, she manages to make...
because Whitney Wolfhound, I don't think she elevated herself horizontally, did she, darlings? No, she
as
didn't.
bland as humanly possible.
Well, according to Whitney Wolfhound, she had to get up in the morning and answer the phone and go to the laptop. It was just so It's just so taxing. Oh, it's terrible. It took it right out of her. She just made £1 billion. She was knackered.
I don't understand how. This is why I think actually stepping outside of the royal family was probably the best thing for her. Because when you are a member of the royal family and you're basically an ambassador for so many issues, you really have to get into the thick of it, and you really have to understand everything that you're doing. Princess Anne, for example, she's well known for being very well researched on all the sort of charities she's a patron of. She's very well versed in the issues that she is basically representing. Meghan does.
She's always been like that. She's always done her work behind the scenes, hasn't she? But she's always been patron for Save the Children since she herself was little more than a child herself. I think, was she 17 or 18 when she took over the patronage of Save the Children? I mean, I was a child at the time. So, and she always did it in a kind of no-nonsense, unemotional way that is what is needed if you want to make bigger change. If you're just making, one-to-one change or a small amount of change, then emotion does come into it because you see children in need and you just want to give them everything that they need or that they're wanting. But if you're trying to do it structurally and, say, over a bigger, caseload, then it does take an emotionless sort of stand back and look at the situation like Princess Anne's done all these years. But she's always been there. I'm pretty sure she is still patron of Save the Children. Yes. I don't know if she saved any. I would imagine she has. I think she probably... I mean, you can't... How old is she now? 70? You can't be doing that for over 50 years and you ain't saved a few kids. Of course she has.
Don't have any of that. It's all just, bustling your innocence and being happy and not struggling. And just, if there's strength in being yourself. The magazines publish things about me, but, there's strength in being yourself. As if you are not making money because the media are reporting.
It's an incredible impersonation, by the way. I was transported for a moment to Montecito.
But that's what I've said before. She makes quite a lot of money out of being infamous, doesn't she? So I read somewhere that her and Barry had their noses put right out of joint because they weren't put up for an award. Was it an Emmy for their documentary on Netflix? Because it received so many millions of views. Had more than Joe Rogan, it did, apparently. Only because they got Netflix to hold him down for a few weeks. Something like that. And so, and they didn't get an award. No, because most of the views were just hate watching. Right, and that's the thing. That's the thing as well. That sells.
This is the funny thing: is that if she actually leaned into the subject, then it would take
here we go. We're leaning into it now.
To be this incredibly captivating.
We're leaning into it. We're going to do the heavy lifting. We're going to be present in the moment. We're going to elevate and orgasmic, organic, authentic, and all that old rubbish. Stop. Talk bleeding English, the load of you. No one understands you.
Person, because we do care about
sound
business.
Like a woolly head.
She's leaned into this very niche, narrow element of it, which is being a female founder of a new company. Which is quite a narrow definition. But actually, loads of people invest in the stock market.
I think the old Marklet, what she's saying is she's female founder, i.e., of Archwell and Archwell Productions. But she neglects to say that actually her husband's 50% of that. What I recall, they both set it up, not just her. But obviously she's taking the kudos for it. She would, wouldn't she? She really, really would, yeah.
There's ways that you can expand that subject of business out.
I'm just surprised they didn't send her up in a bleeding rocket yesterday or whenever it was. Do you know what I mean? We would have all won and all. The world would have been resoundingly clapping, wouldn't we? Keep her! The aliens would have sent her straight back, wouldn't they? They'd have said you could have that bleeding thing back. What'd you send her up here for? We've got enough problems.
Make it bigger. But this was one of the things that was so jaw-dropping to me about the Bumble share price issue, which is that Meghan is an investor. People forget that, but Meghan has invested in various companies. So she's sitting there. She is the equivalent of the person who invested 75 grand in Bumble and lost all the money. What does she think about a chief executive sitting there saying it doesn't matter that the share price crashed?
Well, she clearly has no understanding of business. Bear in mind, I hate to remind everyone, this is an actress. She didn't train as a chemist or as a doctor or as an engineer. She is an actress. So I think it's fair enough to...
But it's like when you say she was an actress, she wasn't a chemist or a doctor, usually there's not a lot of leeway for fault in those professions, is there? Whereas with acting, it's kind of more circumspect, isn't it? Because I've never seen... Well, I have seen worse actors, and she's probably, with them, which is more than likely why she never even gets C parts, does she, let alone D parts. So, I don't know whether she's third walk-on girl or something, or she's opening boxes at one point, wasn't she? She couldn't even do that without causing a bleeding fuss. Could she, with that Mandel bloke, tried it on with him, dirty flirty? She didn't care. She wanted him to get hold of her box.
So to not have high expectations of her intelligence.
Yeah.
That being said, did you catch in the podcast when she said, "Oh, you know,
Don't
you're
have
trying
any.
to start a business, but Archie's going to potty training"? And I was like, "Wait, what? What do you mean going to potty training?
Right.
Are there like schools in Montecito where you send your children to be toilet trained?"
Right.
Oh gosh, it took us a solid years for.
But at 5, wouldn't he be potty trained at 5? Because he was born in 19 May. So we're getting on for May 19th, 2025. Is that getting on for 6? Is it his 5th birthday or his 6th? I can't work it out. I'm lost. Me math. Anyway, potty trained? Surely he should be. My gosh, these people. She stayed at home a bit more, he might be.
I was very shocked by it because I'm like, surely not.
I guess she must mean maybe he's like crawling around.
That's interesting. Well, maybe we did get a little bit of a personal detail in there.
Quite often, if children aren't settled, their potty training takes a lot longer. Do you know what I mean? You have to keep children in a sort of rigid routine, lifestyle routine, if you know what I mean, to enable the potty training process. If they're being like left here, put there, picked up by somebody else who's dropped them there and done this and done that, yeah, it throws it all out of kilter. So is she sort of offloading to us and telling us something? Because I would have said at 5, it should be potty trained. Most children potty trained about 2.5, 3, as far as I remember. So there you go.
Their children too has mindfulness training. I mean, I kid you not, mindfulness training for a bunch of toddlers is hilarious to me. But that was one of the things they insisted upon.
Right.
So more broadly,
What's going on
based
now?
on, I've taken on board your reviews. They do seem to be quite in line with the reviews I've seen
Yeah.
elsewhere as well regarding the podcast.
Full of rubbish.
Off the back of archetypes,
Yes.
with the Spotify deal collapsing in quite a dramatic way
Yes.
a couple of years ago.
Oh dear.
Do we
Never mind.
think that Megan is going to manage to push through with this podcast? Do you think that this will be...
Yeah, she's going to continue boring the socks off the globe. She doesn't care. It's a vanity project. It's all about her, bish bash bosh in no time at all. She'll be leading a load of limbless bleeding soldiers around in her drawers again. My God, this woman, she's a maniac.
Do you think that
She's
this
a
will be her
menace.
big podcast comeback, or do you think she's failed to
Hello.
I think this isn't going to be her
Proud
big
black
podcast
confident
comeback, but
woman
it
of
could be
colour
a
or something
necessary
like that.
step on the way for her to realise that she has to push herself harder and do more. I think there's a bit of complacence.
She needs to learn to keep her mouth shut, really, and enable and facilitate her guests, that's the word, guest, to actualise themselves, which is part of the entertainment, that you're providing the forum and facilitating them so that the viewing public walks away knowing something more about their guest than they do you, because you're going to be there week after week. You don't need to do the word salad and get in every minutiae of everything you think and all bad things that people may or may not have thought or said about you and the voice and all nasty and something. Forget all that. You're not there for that. You're the anchor. You sort of like hold the show down and illuminate your guests, don't you? I would have thought that's what you do. Off the top of my head.
See, that's creeping into the Sussex camp where they went in all guns blazing,
Yeah, full of
largely
shit,
pointing at
as
the monarchy.
usual.
They did the whole royal bombshells thing.
Yeah.
Ultimately, it
No one
destroyed their
cared about
reputation,
that.
so they had to stop.
Right.
They then stopped and realised they had to do something that was more comfortable, and they wound up with something very vanilla. So they've done incredibly
It wasn't
dramatic.
comfortable. It's so cringe. She wasn't comfortable, and the people that watch it aren't comfortable watching it. It's a massive cringe fest. I remember all that. Whatever it was with Selena Marie, whatever her name was, the tennis playing lady, and all the other women we've never heard of. They're all super good friends of hers. They're really good friends. Oh my God.
But toxic. Now they're doing boring but safe, and they need to
Can we
find
just
a way,
not
but
do any
also
of
a
it?
motivation to push themselves into more daring television.
Oh, don't. She'll be doing yoga. We'll be looking at her from every bleeding angle sooner than you can bleed. Oh dear. Spit in a cap. My God, this woman, don't give her ideas. We've already had the bleeding cooking, which was tacky, to say the least. And we've had all her wonderful life, which was even tackier. So, yeah, we're getting to probably work out videos with her in a leotard. And maybe got her leg up round her neck or something, doing yoga in the back garden with a load of flowers. Something like that. It'll be that. It'll be that.
Isn't
Mark my
a
words.
fight with the monarchy, and they need something to drive them there. And so I
Yes.
think Meghan has to go through
With
this
something to
phase
drive her somewhere.
of things that don't quite land in order to summon from within herself the motivation to leave the house and not just monetize her own life, because I think that's basically what she's doing. She's trying to monetize her life. She's got a little home farm which she's using to cook, to make crudité.
No, she hasn't. That was an Airbnb they rented out. That wasn't her garden. She's full of hooey. It's superficial and it's inauthentic, even though I'm really classy and authentic. She's about as far from authentic as you're going to get. And that's all there is to it. You can't really say any more than that. I'm fed up, you're fed up, we're all fed up. Wish she would bloody go away and leave us all alone. And stop filling the bleeding airways. That's what I think. Sorry about that. Anyway, I love you and leave you wherever you are in the world. Have a wonderful afternoon, evening, good morning, good night. And just remember, you're wonderful people. Each of you individually. I love you.